Open call manager. Call connected. Holy crap, dude. What sort of small miracle did you just do? What sort of small miracle did you just do? There you go, ladies and gentlemen, the Quarter Hoarder.
Ah! I think Mike fixed it.
Mike fixed it. That's all we need. Hey, if you ever have a problem with anything, call Mike Lyman. He is the technical genius.
Let me turn my sound down.
All right. How about now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Well, I'm super close. Let me move my camera back some.
No, you're good. I can adjust you. You're fantastic.
Adjust me. I was really, really close.
Do you live in a library?
I don't, but this is my office. This is my comfort place. I can't believe it's working.
Yeah, I know. All we needed was Mike. Holy crap, man.
Mike is good luck. Mike fixes everything. Let me turn my volume up now.
Dude, you're absolutely unreal. Dude, I don't have a clue. I am what's that? All right, I've been told to turn you up.
All right, turn up. I can put my headset in if you want. I sort of took all my stuff apart.
All right, how about now?
Can you hear me?
I think we got to fix.
Oh, let me plug my headset in.
There we go.
Is that better or is that worse?
Everybody said all good now.
Hello?
Yep. Even my wife says it's better. You're good.
All right. How's this right now, Matt?
Sounds good. Everybody says roll with it. So,
what the heck?
If my wife says roll with it, that's what we're doing. She's the boss.
You know what's funny, Matt, is I've been on 2 live streams in the last, maybe 2 months, and both of them had all sorts of problems. I think it's me. I think I'm a jinx. I don't know what it is.
You know, I did see the last one, and we are not going to allow that to happen anymore.
You don't take any calls.
So,
I gotta move my camera back. I am really, really close. I'm scaring myself.
No, dude, we're good. So
I can't believe everyone stayed in the chat. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Matt was really struggling. I wasn't going to drop off. I wanted to really let him try to figure it out. I don't know what the heck happened, but man, it's working. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how we made it happen, but we did, and I'm absolutely stoked about that.
Someone said, did you rub your own stickers? I did. I just got a bunch of new stickers in today, and I was rubbing them for you, Matt. I was rubbing them. I was like, come on, man. He's got to get this.
Riser says metal detecting gremlins. So, yeah, absolutely. Mike Lyman went into the space-time continuum and fixed it. He must have a DeLorean hidden somewhere. So, dude, I don't know. Like now we're gonna get this on the road. It's a little later than we expected, but
well, whatever.
Dude, I'm absolutely stoked to have you on the live stream. I love your stuff. I was watching your last video today at that absolutely epic house.
That was fun. That was fun. And I'll tell you what. I'll tell you my secret too, Matt. Is as cool as the houses are, and we've knocked 1,700 houses all summer long, which is incredible. It really comes down to the company you're with. If you get along with those people and you can have fun, the fines almost don't even matter. That's just a bonus on the fun day.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I don't want to find nothing. But it's so easy to have fun with your buddies if you really get along with them. And then, the smallest things, you get excited, especially after you dug trash all day long. You're like, yes, look, I've got this thing, and I don't know what it is. And then, of course, the coins and things like that help out. So, but it's been an epic summer for us with these colonial mansions. I think I've got 4 videos in the queue of 4 more mansions. I'm tired of putting colonial mansion in my title, but that's what we're getting week after week.
How do you knock, what do you hide in the truck to, get permission for one of those places?
It's funny. The first couple were really intimidating because you walk up and the lawn is manicured. They probably have a butler. I mean, it was intimidating. I felt like like a white trash hobo knocking on the door, asking for money. But after the first couple, they're regular people. They're just as excited. These homeowners have been out with us almost every single time, following us around, holding the stuff. They're regular people. So, there is no limit. If there's a door, I'm knocking on the door. Or my buddy Doug or the Nibbler, one of us, we're knocking on the door. We don't care anymore. And I tell everybody out there, if you're not sure, suck it up and go knock on the door. We're probably at 95% yeses on every house we knock. And, man, it's been an incredible summer. These huge mansions. I've got so many places. I mean, I'm talking like 6-acre, 300-year-old property that we've gone to once and did like 5% of it. And I can't even go back because we've got the next house lined up for next weekend already. So I'm like, I'm skipping all this stuff. So, if anyone wants to go knock on some of the properties I did, well, you have to wait a couple years because I'm not going to tell you the address.
So like that's that's incredible to be able to have that kind of amount of properties just like that. Like, so are you going to make plans to go back to some of these places?
Yeah, we're going to go back. I mean, at the moment, I keep telling Doug, I said, look, Doug is one of my digging partners I've been with all summer. I actually met him online. He was a subscriber and he emailed me and said, hey, I live close to you. You want to get together? And we got together. He was a great dude. We got along really well. And we've been going out ever since, with the Nibbler. Because the Nibbler, my long-standing partner, he's a doctor. He works crazy long hours. So I needed to bring someone else into the mix because I don't like going alone. I started going alone the first year and a half, and going alone is boring. I didn't realize it was boring when I first started doing it, but once you start going out with buddies and sharing your finds, I don't want to go alone anymore. That's boring. I'll even bring the homeowner out with me and be like, come outside with me. I don't want to be by myself out here. So Doug is great. He's retired. He's semi-retired. So he goes out all the time. And this guy, Doug, I'll tell you what, I think he said he was 68 years old, which is no spring chicken. And when we dig from 9 in the morning until dark. And in the summer, that's like 9 at night. It's 12 hours. We don't take a lunch. We might go back to the car and get a drink. If you got to go to the bathroom, you better hold it because I'm not leaving. And Doug hangs the whole 12 hours. So you're a great dude. I'm glad I got together with him. And I forget what the question even was. I talk a lot, Matt.
No, you're good, man. I could
hurt my feelings.
No, I completely get it because that's how I am. Honestly, I hunted with 3 guys this summer. If you watch any of my videos, Bruce Adwell. Really, it's been the 3 of us: Bruce Adwell and Ralph McGee. He's in the chat as well. And cool. And we've gone out. We've found some incredible stuff, like absolute epic things that were not even on the bucket list because I thought they were so unobtainable.
No,
you know what I mean? And I said, you know what? Those guys are working. They can't go out. I'm just going to put my kayak in a river, and I just paddled up a river, and I found what I was looking for all summer long, a U.S. box plate. And
wow,
absolutely ecstatic to find it. It would have been 100 times better. Fantastic relic, 100 times better if either of those guys were with me.
Absolutely, it is. And you share that. You live vicariously. And you truly are excited when one of your buddies finds something. I don't care if I find it. How much junk do I need? I'm truly happy if they find it. And what's great, too, is when I go out with 2 or 3 other guys, it takes a lot of pressure off me to have to find stuff to put a video out. Because now I got 4 of us, and I can walk around, and I can see that everybody finds. It's tough if it's just you out there because you feel like, oh, man, I didn't find enough stuff to put a video out. And I like putting videos out. It's fun. But I don't want to put a video out of just bottle caps and nails. And some weeks that happens. So when you got 3-4 guys out there, it really ups the ante for you to be able to, someone's going to find some good stuff. 3 of us, 4 of us out there for 12 hours, we probably dig 800 holes. You're going to find 10, 20 cool things when you dig 800 holes in a day. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, somebody's going to find something, at least one like epic thing. And especially if you're door knocking 1700s houses. I mean,
Oh, yeah. It's virgin ground. Every week is virgin ground. If it's not virgin ground, maybe it was detected 30 years ago with a stud finder on a broom mop. But I mean, it's pretty much virgin ground.
So like now my question is like you're finding really old houses. Are you going anything farther than that? Like, are you like, hey, what's the next door neighbor's house at? I mean, like, are these like?
Well, we've been in the same town all summer long. It's this really historic town in Pennsylvania. It's about an hour and 20 minutes from my house. So we get up real early. We drive all the way out there. And once we got the first one, it kind of helps because when you knock on the second one, if they do look, wishy-washy, you drop a name. We all join the historical society in that town, so you get a little card. You meet those people. In fact, in a week or two, we actually detected the historical society property itself, which goes back to like the 1850s. So we even got so good friends with the historical society people, we detected that ground there. So it really helps because now, we're almost a staple. People know us. They drive by. I wave to everybody. I want everyone to know who I am, at least visually. So if I knock on their door, I don't seem as much of a stranger because the historical areas in town, they're a tight-knit group. They all know each other. There's a lot of rules. The properties, the houses have to be painted a certain shade of a certain color to be able to be a historic site. So they all know each other. They have monthly meetings, and news travels. So, we become friendly with all of them, and really good friends. I mean, when you're there 12 hours, they come out a lot. Believe me, I stop and I'm talking to them for a half hour sometimes. Almost every house we've gone in and they've gave us tours of the house and walkthroughs, and I don't show that in the video for their own privacy.
Right.
But I mean, we really do become friendly with these people, considering they were total strangers, an hour before. And it helps because then you're sort of, you're a staple. They know you. And, we've donated a lot of things to the local historical society. Like I said, we don't need this much junk. I like to find it. I like to photograph it, make a little video of it. But then, do I really need thousands and thousands of them like these books? I don't need that much stuff. So a lot of it we donate away. We give to the homeowner, or we'll donate it in the homeowner's name. And it just, it just keeps snowballing. Just keep going.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm going to be really bummed when winter sets in and I go back to the woods and the farms, which usually I look forward to, but I'm going to be bummed this year.
You know what, that you nailed like one of my favorite things to talk about with finding permissions, and that's simple networking, because it's so much easier for Jane Doe to say yes when Bob and Bill and 4 or 5 other neighbors. Like, that's one of my greatest like avenues for gaining permission, like even
Absolutely.
the big farm fields where I'm at.
Absolutely. And I've said it before. When I first started detecting years ago, if I was detecting, and you can feel in everyday life, you can feel if someone's staring at you. We have like a sixth sense. And if I felt like a neighbor or someone walking by staring at me, I'd put my head to the ground. I pretend I don't notice them. Or if they say, hey, you, like I pretend I can't hear them because my headphones are on. And then one day I realized, like, that's just stupid. Why am I blowing this potential lead? So if I'm detecting and I feel someone looking at me, out of the corner of my eye, my headphones go down and I walk right over to them, because if that person's walking around, they probably live in the immediate area. And I can't tell you how many times just from talking to them, I'll show them the finds, and then I go, oh, where do you live? How old's your house? No kidding. And then usually within a week, I'm over at their house too. So it really pays off to miss out on that 10 minutes of detecting time and get a whole new permission without even knocking on the door.
And some of my favorite finds are, I'll be at an old house and somebody will come by and go, oh, you don't want to dig on my house. My house built in 1990. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't mind, because I know if something good's here, it's just a little farther away, especially if it's an adjoining property. So who cares how old that next house is? That house could be built yesterday.
That's true. I don't know if I'd want to do a house that was built yesterday, Matt, but other than that, I'm all over it.
Well, like one of my best permissions is is built in 1799. It's a little farmhouse that would have been out in the country in the middle of nowhere. But everything is there. The privies are there. But you know what's not on the property anymore? The ice house, where they stored all their cold goods. And it's in the woods in an adjoining property. And
yep.
Those people are the nicest people in the world. Next door neighbors, not so much.
Yeah. We were at a beautiful house this past weekend, and they had an enormous ice house. And Kyle was detecting all around that, and me and Doug stayed up near the house. And the carriage houses, the ice houses, the outhouses. They would build the outhouse. They would use it for, who knows, maybe 10 years until it slowly filled up. They would dig a new hole, move the outhouse over 10 feet, and just keep doing that. And you can see where the outhouses were because the ground is a little softer. So when you look for the old outhouse, there was probably many of them because they would just keep moving it over as that hole got filled up. And outhouses are great spots too, especially the walk to the outhouse and the walk to the carriage house and the ice house. You know, they probably walk back and forth every day, several times a day. So yeah, those are primo spots.
So my question now is, if you know where the privies are, have you ever dug one?
Well, we do, but see, here's my thing. Especially this year has been a really weird year because we've gotten so many permissions and the land is so big. This year, I have not done any privies, and the only reason why is because if you're at a 6-acre, 300-year-old property for one day, I want to get, hopefully, the coins and the silverware and the jewelry that would be close to the house. Even though there's going to be old bottles and cool things like that in the dump, I don't want to do that if I'm only there one day. You know what I mean? Like, I might go back and do that area, because normally in the privies, I don't find a lot of coins and things like that. And I love finding coins. I love finding weird stuff. But I find more close to the house. And usually the privy is away from the house. And I really like to get tight to the house if I'm only there one day. Or even if I'm there for a week straight, the first day, I want to be tight to the house because that's where I'm going to find the majority. That's where the kids played. That's where all the action was, coming and going. And then as you get further and further away, the finds get sparser and sparser. So if I'm only there one day, I want to really maximize my results. I like leaving with a bag full of stuff. So I try to stick tight to the house and make small circles and work my way out. And by the time I would get to the privy area, I mean, I ran out of daylight. And then the next week, like I said, we're on to another house. So if we go back, I do. Then I'll go further away. I'll look for the old dump. I love the old dumps, what they call a dump. It's not like our dumps today. It's like baby diapers and stuff. I mean, their dumps were like bottles and silverware and things I think are cool.
Doll heads and arms.
I haven't done as many this year.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty cool. See, that's the other part I like talking about different folks from different. Like, we find the house, and then the next thing we ask is where was the camp around it? Because I live in Central Virginia, I'm like, where's the Civil War site? And where's the water and where's the little high ground that you would have put a camp on? And then we go,
you're right.
All different directions looking for the camp. And if you don't find it, then you go back to the house.
Yeah, I guess it's different. There is no Civil War camps around here. We do have a lot of Revolutionary War camps. You know, I'm up in the Northeast. There was a lot of Revolutionary War. George Washington crossed the Delaware like a half hour from my house. So there was a lot of Revolutionary War activity. But things that are going back that far, that stuff is deep. And even though I've been detecting 1700s mansions all summer, I don't find a lot of 1700s stuff. Or if you do, a lot of it is slick and you can't even see what it is. So 1700s coins and things like that, they are tough to find, even if I'm at the best potential spot. Things fall quick. I'll dig 10 inches down and pull up an 1890 Indian penny. So try to imagine how much deeper a penny 100 years older would be.
Right.
You know, original Earth, it sinks quick. It'll sink all the way down to the clay level, which might be 2 feet down. And even if I could reach it, I don't know if I want to dig 3-foot deep holes in somebody's yard all day long.
Right.
So
and then ruin that permission.
Houses, but I'm expecting 1800 stuff, if that kind of makes sense.
Right. No, that makes all the sense in the world to me. And all your soil conditions are going to make a huge difference as to how fast that stuff either stays up high or goes down low.
Yeah, this town we've been in butts up against the Delaware River. So as you get down about maybe 8 inches or so, the ground starts to get, wet and soft. So I'm sure as they fall, things fall really rapidly, because it's not like it's thick clay or rock that would hold it up. Things fall quick, unless I get lucky and there's a big, 300-year-old buttonwood tree and those roots keep things high. A lot of times I don't find 1700 stuff as much as I'm trying to, and I've only got a couple of 1700s coins this summer, so you do get lucky once in a while. But I just had a comment today. A guy watched the video and said, man, for a 1700s mansion, you didn't find any 1700 stuff. How disappointing. And I was like, no, it's not disappointing. I go in expecting to find 1800 stuff because it's going to be more in my reach. When you're there one day at a virgin ground spot, I'm really kind of cherry picking, Matt.
Right.
I'm cherry picking. Most of the things I'm digging are going to be 6 inches or shallower. It's not like I'm going to a park that's been beat up for 20 years by everyone and their mother, and I'm trying to eke out a squeaker. The things I'm going, there is targets everywhere. Someone's yard is usually pretty clean of trash. People take care of their property, not like a public park where there's going to be garbage all over and bottle caps and pull tabs. Someone's yard, they sort of pick up after themselves.
Right.
So I don't really get a lot of trash. So I chase the signals that I think are going to be the best things. I chased all the coin signals, all the high tones. Usually within the first hour or two, I sort of decide if I'm going to keep digging nickel signals or not. If I'm getting a lot of trash, I'll give up on them too, because I'm there one day. I want to maximize my good finds. So if it was a spot that I was going to go back to, all summer long, if I had one permission, well then yeah, I'd beat it to death and I would dig everything and all that. But when you're only there one day and there's 6 acres to cover, you got to really you got to rein it in and decide, hey, I'm only going to dig high tones all day long unless I'm not getting high tones.
Right.
But
it's just you're taking the odds, the probability of success, and just putting them in your favor. And
that's what it is.
The other part about a 1700s house is consideration for what they had at that time. Did they have a lot of coins? Probably not. If you found 1700s
normally I'd say no. Where we are, because they're mansions, whoever owned that back then had some money. You know what I mean? Had some money. We've been finding a lot of silver. Even the spoons and forks we've been finding, you'll turn them over and rub them, and they're sterling. So they did have money. Now, the problem with rich people is they hold on to their money really tight.
Right.
If they drop it, they're going to pick it up.
Not like the country folks of Virginia.
Believe me, I've done some poor houses too, where you're not going to find high quality stuff. But when you're doing a mansion, and believe me, I didn't know this until I started doing mansions this year. I didn't have a lot of mansion experience. You do the finds are quality, and so much so I've been finding a lot of really cool stuff. I had a couple things up here. I don't know where the heck they went, but quality pieces. So I was never a big Facebooker up until like maybe earlier this year, and I found so much cool stuff. I was like, man, I got to show this. I just want to show people, and I started putting all these like silver spoons and silver this and that, and just these cool things. I love the cool, crazy, oddball things, and that's what I hope for. That most of all, that's what I want. Even if it was, I'd rather find crazy things than coins. Believe it or not, I just love because they're interesting and you've never seen it before, and probably no one's seen it before.
So like with running into those houses and stuff like that, are you running into like a lot of monogrammed silverware and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I have one in front of me. I don't want to show it because it'll be on this Thursday's video. I hate spoilers, man.
Okay.
But yeah, we both found, Kyle and I found sterling monogram pieces from the same set. The whole set's probably out there somewhere, but we ran out of time. The sun went down, and then my darn, I got to work. I don't dig enough wheat pennies to pay the mortgage, so I got to go to work on Monday, or I'd be back there again. And I would say I'd call out of work, but I know my boss is a subscriber. He might be watching, so I don't want to say that.
The cool part about that kind of stuff too is, so I had a 1750s house, and the people said, "Oh, these people lived here, and their first name was a V." Every piece of utensil I found was monogrammed. Now, it wasn't fancy silver like yours. But it was monogrammed, and they were wealthy for Virginians in the 1750s. And
That's cool.
And so every single one had a V on it. And I was like, well, why the heck is all the silverware outside? And then I was like, duh, who wants to eat inside in the summer when it's hot as crap? Let's go outside and have a picnic.
These big buttonwood trees, that's what they did. They'd go outside and they'd sit under these huge buttonwood trees that are 300-400 years old. They're massive. They're like 20 feet around, at least up here. I don't know if they have them down in Virginia. And they would sit around those trees and they would eat, and those roots keep things up. Me and Kyle make a beeline to those buttonwood trees every time. The last house we were at, Kyle spent like 4 hours almost just around the tree and just kept pulling out crowdle bells and skeleton keys and coins and all sorts of stuff, because that's where they sat year after year, decade after decade around these trees. Mm-hmm. So that's always one of the best spots to go to. I even found one of the things we love finding are dog tags, not military, but like animal dog tags, because usually they'll have the homeowner's name on it and a year. Right. And then I'll bring it to the current homeowner and say, hey, a lot of these colonial, if you buy a colonial mansion, you're into history. So you probably know who owned the house throughout the years. You're kind of into that, or you wouldn't, spend your money on a house that, doesn't have central air and, all that kind of stuff.
Hot as crap in the summer, cold in the winter, drafty.
Yeah. So, they're into that lifestyle. So when you find like a dog tag, even if it's from like the 1920s, but it has the homeowner's name that owned that house 100 years ago, they love that stuff, and we'll give it to them, because that's a piece of, that piece should stay with the property. That's a piece of history for that little area. And as innocent as a dog tag is, a little animal, Bucky, or I don't know who named her dog Bucky. I couldn't think of anything. But you find like Bucky, 1920, the homeowners love that stuff. And what better way for you to go back again by giving them something you found on their property, because they're going to put it in a little shadow box and put it on the wall.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's going to mean so much more to them than it is ever to you and having Bucky's dog tag. Although I do like old dog tags that don't have like early 1900s dog tags and stuff like that.
Animal tags are awesome. Especially sometimes you'll get some. I've got a couple that the animal tag itself is shaped like a fire hydrant or a bone, something really cool. One time years ago, God, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was digging down and there was an animal tag, and I pulled it up. And when I pulled it up, it was still attached to the skeleton of the. I think it was a cat, actually. So whenever I knock now, and you can ask Doug. I don't know if Doug's in the chat. I always ask the homeowner, is there a spot where you guys buried your pets? Because I don't want to dig up Bucky, unless you want me to, then I will, but I don't want to dig him up and then come to the house and be like, sorry, here's Bucky.
Here's your dog back that died 5 years ago. Oh my gosh.
I looked, come to text, the dog's name was Bucky, so I didn't just make it up.
Yeah. So obviously that's cool, because that's another part of actually having a strategy to a big house and to finding the permissions and stuff like that. So do you have like small house strategies? Like I know Jeff and Missouri Mike, they are like, I don't know if they rock, paper, scissors, who gets what side of the yard, but like those guys have that down to a science too.
Yeah, they are. I was down digging with Jeff in Missouri a couple weeks ago, and their strategy is so different than mine. Like I said, I'm a talker. I'll knock on the door. There's certain key things that I'll say to get the permission, but I like to just rap with the guy. I want him to think that we're good friends, even though we just met 2 minutes ago. I talk a lot. I listen. I ask questions, and we try to get a dialogue. So I might be at the door knocking, and I might talk to the guy for 20, 25 minutes sometimes. So when I went down with Jeff said, I'm going to go knock on this house. I said, all right, I'll wait in the car. I might have had 2 sips of my coffee, and Jeff was back. And I thought the guy, like, pull a shotgun. Like, get off my lawn. But Jeff's like, nah, I got it. We're good. I was like, dude, you were there 30 seconds. I said, what's the guy's wife's name? Where'd they go to high school? You don't know anything?
What's their mother's maiden name?
So it just goes to show you there's no right way or wrong way. Be yourself. I like to talk. Maybe Jeff's not a talker, but whatever your spiel is,
Jeff is witty. Don't let him fool you. That guy is witty, and he will crack a joke on you without you even know it. And he'll just sit in the corner and giggle.
I know. I've watched his video of our hunt. I've probably watched it 3 times, and every time I heard a new joke that I must have missed the first time. It's like watching a movie over and over.
Yeah.
He is a super funny guy. I love that guy. And I think we might be doing another thing in the spring, so that'll be cool. He's a great dude, and he's right up my alley. You know what I mean? I love all the diggers. Anybody out there, but certain things are my forte. I'm not a huge farm guy. I'm not a huge beach guy. I like knocking on doors, meeting people, virgin ground, and that's what Jeff is. And there's not a whole lot of us that knock on doors all the time, especially week after week, all year long. And that's what I like to do. The only thing is up here in the Northeast, once December rolls around, the ground's frozen, so I just physically can't. So then I have to go to the farms and the woods. But it's hard to find people. Where I am in New Jersey, there's a metal detecting club not too far from me, maybe a half hour away. But I'd say 90% of those guys are all beach guys. And nothing wrong with the beach. It just isn't my thing. There's not a lot of guys that go to houses and knock on doors. So, Jeff was a perfect fit for me because, that's what we both love to do.
And see, that's funny because, man, you go knocking doors around, where I live, you have 70 years of guys knocking on doors. You will get a shotgun pulled on you.
Yeah, I think because New Jersey is, we're on the East Coast. I live a half hour from Atlantic City and all the shores. If you're going to be a metal detectorist, I can see the appeal because you're going to probably find, jewelry. There are tens of thousands of people on the beach. You're putting the sun lotion on and your ring falls off, and I totally get it. So that's got to be really appealing to go down to the beach and find, things that are actually valuable. The things I find probably aren't valuable, but that's okay. It's just what I like to find. So a lot of guys are beach goers, and nothing wrong with that. And they'll knock on the door occasionally, but I knock on the door all the time. I don't. That's just what I like to do. And it took me a while. Early on, I did some parks and I did some schools, and I don't care if I find something valuable. I don't care if I find a gold ring. I want to find something old. I want to try to research it online, figure out maybe even what it is, because that's half the battle sometimes. What is this? But I like the old stuff, even if it's totally worthless to everyone in the world but me. That's what I like. And so, we all, you find what you like to find. We're all doing the same thing, but we all have different version of treasure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Whether it's going to Goodwill and finding something that is, something somebody discarded, or if it's, rummaging through a dumpster or digging a hole in the ground. It's all treasure hunting. Yeah. And
absolutely.
I think that's absolutely awesome too. I completely agree with that. See, I'm kind of like the weird guy. I love Civil War relic hunting because that's where I live, but I like knocking on 1920s doors or 1890s doors. I like digging privies. I love rummaging through dumps. That's absolutely awesome, But I'll go to the beach and hunt too. My wife's like, "Oh, I'm going to sit on the beach and, you'll be back in 17 hours or something silly," or, so it's just whatever. In New Jersey,
I'm the same way. I mean, I usually, if I'm going to knock on a door, usually maybe 1950 or so might be the newest that I'd like to knock on. Not that I wouldn't detect a newer house, but if you're going to knock on a door, you can knock on any door. And in the Northeast, luckily, I'm in a really old area. I mean, every town has a historic district that probably goes back hundreds of years. So I try to knock on at least, maybe 1900 or older. That's the stuff I like to find. Like I said, I don't find a lot of 1700 stuff wherever I go. And if I do, it's really in bad shape. So the things I love to find are 1850 to the 20s or 30s. In that range, all your Art Deco stuff, your cool pieces of brass, those are my favorite things. And if I get lucky and catch something even older, well, I got lucky. Yeah. But, I always go in, I try to find that range, because that's the range of stuff that that I prefer. It's hard to find, 1700 stuff, even if you're at a virgin 1700s ground. So, but yeah, we've knocked 1950. I think was the most recent house we've knocked, and we've knocked hundreds of houses. My knuckles have calluses on them from
Banging on doors.
doors.
So do you ever have that one house that you've always knocked on the door and no one's ever answered, and like that's your like your golden goose right there?
No. I mean, there was one house that we already did. We did it like 2 weeks ago. I think we went back and knocked on it 3 times. The first 2 they weren't home, and the third one we finally got them. It's weird with these mansions because they're way back off the road. I mean, they're mansions. I'm talking like 6-foot high wrought iron fence that goes around the whole thing. The house is way back off the road. But until I knock and know the guy, I don't want to be disrespectful. I feel bad. I won't pull in the guy's driveway. I'll park on the street, maybe 3 blocks away, and we'll walk. And we'll get to his house, and we'll walk up this driveway. And I mean, places that look like there was like $3-4 million houses, and it's a little bit intimidating walking up there because you don't know if this guy's like, Biff Livingston, the banker. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I know, but people seem like they're pretty nice. I'm an excitable guy. I think the passion of what I like to do kind of comes through, even if I didn't have words. Just my hand motions. I got some Italian in me. I think they sort of get it. And like I said, some of the people that I would have never thought would be into it, within a half an hour, they're outside. Even if they're in their fancy robe and their nice coffee mug, they're watching us. And I'll dig something out of the ground, and their hands out. Oh, can I see that? So it's an addicting hobby, and I know they're into it. In fact, I think it might be this week's video. I was detecting another mansion. The guy who was a super rich guy, I don't know, he's a millionaire, multimillionaire. He had a 10-year-old son whose son was really fascinating. He followed me around for a while. He was digging with me. So the guy came out and said to his son, whatever his son's name was, said, hey, Biff, whatever, I don't know if it's a rich guy's name.
Right.
Hey, little Biffy, do you want a sandwich? And he said, yeah, I'll have a grilled cheese, Dad. And then I said to the guy, oh, I'll take one too. And the guy made me a grilled cheese sandwich. This millionaire made me a grilled cheese sandwich. So it just goes to show you, man, just talk to people, have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
His sandwich was terrible too. He probably is a cook because it was burnt, but whatever.
You still the best grilled cheese you'd eaten in a while, I guarantee it.
I took 2 bites, I buried it in a hole, and I kept going. It wasn't very good. It wasn't even good cheese. It was like rich guy cheese.
Let's hope his 10-year-old son isn't watching this.
Right, I like that orange Velveeta cheese. You know what I mean? That cheap orange Velveeta cheese.
That was probably $30 a slice, like made from a real cow.
I buried the hole and just kept going.
Oh my gosh!
I figure it's biodegradable, right? It's just bread and cheese.
No butter, nothing to make you fat.
Whatever it was, I always do. I'm very superstitious, Matt. When I go to a house, the first hole I dig, no matter what it is, after I dig it with the plug open, I pull a banana out of my bag. I eat the banana and I bury the banana peel in the first hole of the day. I've been doing it for years. I don't know why. I'm just superstitious. Doug says there's going to be banana trees all over the state, in 20 years. So, that guy's house, I buried the banana, I buried the grilled cheese. I don't bury my trash, but I'll bury the biodegradable food products.
That's pretty good. I like the old bury the banana.
I'm waiting for Chiquita to call me up with some sort of a contract deal.
I guess we'll see. We'll see if that happens or not. I don't know how many banana trees really grow in the Northeast, but
so far 0 because I'm tired of buying them all the time.
So I guess we could talk like equipment, and then we'll talk about toboggans. Not
everyone's gonna know what you're talking about. You'll have to explain it.
I know it's a Facebook joke, but still funny. So you hunt with the AT Pro? Like, do you?
Yep, the AT Pro is Now I have it too. I have a few other machines here. I did buy the Equinox maybe like 3-4 months ago, and even though I've been practicing with it in the yard, and everyone and their mother, talks about how great it is, but when it comes time for me to go to the house, I still grab that Pro every time because I'm comfortable with it, and I'm not comfortable with the Equinox yet. I haven't put in enough time, and I don't want to miss things because of user error when I go out there. And I get it, you're only going to get better if you practice it, but I'm stubborn like that. When push comes to shove, you take your favorite lady with you. And that AT Pro is my favorite. I don't care if it's single frequency. I don't care if it's, whatever you're going to compare it to. I know what it is. But you know what? I find enough things where I'm happy. So that's my go-to machine. I am going to practice with this Equinox because I want to have a second machine that I can rely on in case I want to, send one back. My Garrett's got a crack across the screen. So I'm not knocking the Equinox. I'm practicing in my yard, but I'm just not ready to take it to a virgin ground site yet. But I'm working on it. I'm stubborn like that.
No, I think that's.
But yeah, I am. I'm
everybody.
all over that AT Pro. It's. I think it's an easy to learn machine, and I've been using it so long. I kind of feel like I know what it's telling me. Like I kind of, I can kind of tell the subtle differences between a bottle cap and a coin, or I can tell by how the numbers are jumping what it might be or what it's not going to be. So that's my comfort machine. That's the one I go to. So yeah, that's the one. That's the one I'm with. I'm all over it.
Yeah, and I agree to that. I mean, I used I don't know. I used an E-Track, MyLab E-Track for years and years, and that transition to a new machine was so incredibly difficult. Like the first 3 months, I felt like I was 100% wasting my time, and I just wanted to go back to the machine I knew because I was the same way. I could tell those squeaks and those beeps. But eventually I learned the next machine, and, we keep going. But I think that's the smart way for anybody.
Machine, when I go out digging with Drew, he's got an E-Track, and that is a great quality machine. Now, if I swung it, I probably wouldn't find anything. I don't know. It comes down to comfort. That's what it is. But, I mean, there's a lot of great machines. And it's like saying, what's your favorite car, a Ford or a Chevy? You find the one that you like, and you make it work the best you can. So I don't knock anybody if you like swinging a $20 bounty hunter. If you're finding stuff, dude, keep doing it. Are there better machines? Sure. Are there better machines than my AT Pro? Absolutely, there are. But I'm happy with what I'm doing. So I bought the Equinox. I do intend on using it. I have a Fisher. I have an Ace. I think it's a 400i. I have a little collection of them, but a lot of them don't get a lot of use. I'm slowly working on it. The last house I was at, I had the Equinox. I used it for like the first half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, and then I put it back in the car and I grabbed my Pro and just went off. So I'm trying to force myself. I know it's a good machine. It's just, like I said, I'm stubborn like that.
Yeah, and I mean, rightfully so. I mean, I understand it. I mean, it absolutely makes sense. So real quick, and we have 54 hanging out in the live stream, which is absolutely incredible. Thank you to everyone who's here. I don't know where
Jeff Ford is. He knew I was doing the stream. I talked to him like an hour ago. I don't know where he is. He's really been pressuring me to use that Equinox. So I got to use it just for him. He's the one to talk me into buying it in the first place.
Yeah, but you pay attention to old Jeff Ford, though. He'll tell you to buy an Equinox, and he used it on that Horde. But what is he hunting with right now?
Well, I know it. That's what I'm saying. Now, when we went out, I think he had his CTX when he went out.
Yeah. He's a great example. He's like every single one of us. Very reluctant to move in between. And personally, I think in all machines, coil sizes make a huge difference. So
I use on my Pro. I have the Thunder, which is it's not the biggest nail coil, but it's the next one down. It's huge.
Like 13 round.
Whatever it is, yeah. And I use that everywhere I go. I don't care. Even a trashy area, I sort of got so used to it that I'll detect with just the tip of it, just a little tip of it, and I'll hear things like that because I really overlap a lot, and I sweep it, and I'll go slow because I'm working close to the house. I might not get too far away. So I'll use just the tip of it, but I get that much better depth on it. So I love those oversized coils. And I have a 5x8 too. And when that thing's on, I love that too. It's just like, I don't know what to use.
Yeah.
But, I'm always trying to catch something deep, something old. So I keep that big one on. The 5x8 I do use in the woods when I do the winter because sometimes it's hard to get your coil in between like sticks and shrubs and branches. But I live and die with that big coil. I love it. I wish the Equinox. I don't know. Maybe they do. Do they have a bigger size coil than the stock?
Yeah,
coil
it's on its way. It's like everything. Like the 6-inch is slowly filtering in. Now I think it's a 15-inch something. It'll be here eventually.
Yeah, I would love that. I'd feel more comfortable. When I'm doing this. I'm doing a seeded hunt. South Jersey. I'll give him a plug if he's on here. South Jersey. Diggin, South Jersey, I think it's called. Real good guy. He's got a cool website. I think his website is metaldetecting.com. Who gets that site? That was like the first guy on the internet. But I'm doing a hunt at his place, Diggin, South Jersey, and it's a seeded hunt. So because it's seeded, it's stock coil only. So I'm like, I don't even want to take this big one off. I don't even know where my stock coil is. So I got to go find that. But those seeded hunts, if no one's ever done them before, it is so great to the hunt. I mean, it is what it is. You're finding coils that were planted, but to meet all the other diggers in the neighboring states to come together, that's the fun part of it. That's what I'm really excited about. I know, like dump site digger, my buddy Jim, who's way up in New York, is coming down. Guys are coming in from all over. So even though it's a seeded hunt, I'm super stoked to get together with all the people in the neighboring states. So if you've never done a seeded hunt, guys. Don't poo-poo it. You get more out of it than just finding the coins.
Yeah, I want to do a seeded hunt. I want to do the Charles Garrett Memorial Hunt just to do it.
The one in Texas?
I'm actually going to, hopefully, I'm going to go see, I will see DK in less than a couple weeks. We're going to go at least hang out with DK in Colorado. I'm on a work trip, but they do Rush to the Rockies. I'd love to go do that.
I've seen it before. I've seen it.
But it's the same way. So I typically go to organized relic hunts. I go to like Diggin in Virginia. And people are like, oh, man, those places have been pounded on. They've had hundreds of people there. And it's all native relics. I mean, they were huge winter camps. But
oh, yeah.
It is 100%. If you go to these things and you go, I got to dig $250 worth of coins or relics, you're going for the wrong time. Pack your stuff up, go home. There's so much more fun to be had hanging out with these other people than you'll ever find having those relics.
Jeff asked me to do that DIV in the fall, and I was all for it. I tried. I'll tell you what, it was so hard. The sign-up process, I had to be Einstein to figure it out. And then I thought I got it because you have to have all this criteria and this special name and a number and a pin on the map and all this stuff. I thought I had it all right. At least I'd be in the running to get picked. And then I checked like 2 days later. I must have did something wrong. They kicked me off the list, and I was like, forget it. This is too much of a hassle.
Yeah. And it is, it's tough. I mean, and I don't envy those folks. They have like a spot for 200 people and 800 people sign up.
I mean, they had, I don't know what it was. Let's say they had 100 spots open, and there was like 2,000 people that applied. And I was like, man, this is just impossible. So as much as I would have liked to go, it was just wasn't going to happen. Just overcrowded, too many in my little area. So I'm doing the little smaller ones. The one in South Jersey. I did one in Pennsylvania. I might do one up in New England. It's cool to get together with some of the other people. I've met so many cool people on this channel. And, and to collaborate with some of the other people is really cool. Like I said, I collaborated with Brian Allen, Diggin 925. I don't know if you know him.
Yep.
Great guy. We drove like 3 hours down there, me and Kyle. Jocelyn, Relic Recovers, I've gotten together with her many times, and she's really cool. Drew, a lot of them I'm getting together. And it's fun because you sort of feel like you know them already because you kind of know their personality, at least, from watching their videos. So the collaborations they are super fun. I hope you have a good time with DK. He looks like a really fun guy to be with.
I don't know if we're going to get to go dig. I have a very limited amount of time, but man, I had
Even
DK
for
on
a
the stream,
sandwich,
and
go to
he
sandwich
is
and just hang out.
he is a cool dude, and personable and fun to talk to. So what? Oh, I wanted to say Darnell, Hello World Williams, metal detecting. I think he hit 3,000 subs. Congratulations, Darnell. That's awesome.
Awesome. I caught Darnell. I caught most of the stream you had with Darnell. And I told him, Darnell, you're a handsome dude. Update your picture, man. Update your picture on your YouTube.
Yeah, that's what, that was the one comment I got over and over again was, Darnell, man, you got to show your face more. And,
Yeah, Darnell, come on. You're a handsome guy, man. Get out there. But Darnell's a super funny guy. I'm trying to talk my wife into taking a vacation in the spring to Texas, because that's how I dug up Missouri with Plugmaster. It was a whole family vacation. We went down, and I said, look, we're going to go down to Missouri, but I just need one day to go out digging with Jeff. I'm trying to work the same thing in Texas. I'd love to get together with Gypsy. I don't know where Darnell is, because Texas is a big state. They might be 15 hours from each other. But I'd love to get together with some of them. But Texas, I think, is going to be my next one. And that Garrett hunt is there. I looked at it, but at that time of the year when they do it, I know I can't make it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something I'm gonna try to work on. I'm gonna do one of them, whether it's Rush to the Rockies or I have a thing for Montana. Like I want to go. Dog is my co-pirate. I want to go meet him. Just like even if I don't get to go digging, I just want to go say, hey man,
Nathan?
I've always wanted to dig in Montana because I just think it's like you think of cowboys and Indians and frontier, and Custer and.
Nathan's all over the place. I think he's got a house in Montana. I think he's got a house in like the islands, and he's in New York once or twice a year, only a few hours from me. He's all over the place.
Yeah, he was. He had a video of catching salmon on the Puget Sound or something the other day.
Yeah.
So
that's a good guy. I like him.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome stuff, man. And that's cool, man. Like you said, this is community, and I think there's a lot to be said for. Crap, 30 people hung out while there was just a chat hanging out. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
I was trying to do card tricks, but without a visual, they just weren't working. I see Andy O'Neill real quick in the chat. We dig Missouri. Plugmaster Ford will be on Andy's show this Thursday, so I just want to give a cheap plug out for that.
Yep.
So if anybody wants to go on there, Andy's got a Facebook page. And Plugmaster Ford will be on there. I think this might be Plugmaster's first ever interview. I might be wrong. Do you know of any of them?
I think aside from Relic's Radio,
video,
video wise, I think so. So that'll be.
Tune into that. Andy's a great guy. Plugmaster's a good guy. I'm looking forward to the show.
Yeah. We are gonna. If I can get Jeff to convince him, I'm going to be full on insane if I'm going to have Jeff and Missouri Mike on at the same time.
Wow, really?
Yeah, if tonight was stretch enough. Why not? Let's just push it to the limits.
When I was in Missouri going down there, in the back of my mind, my goal was, I hope I can get Mike to say at least 3 words on my video.
Did it work?
I got it. I got 3 words. Mike's very quiet.
Yes,
Mike
he is.
He's super funny, but he's very quirky funny, but he is a super funny guy, Mike.
Yeah.
They make a good team.
I actually watched Missouri Mike digging a flying eagle in the New York camp in Virginia, and he was just like ear to ear, and it was absolutely awesome,
Really?
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah, they are. They're 2 good guys. They make a good team. Reminded me a lot of me and the Nibbler because my buddy Kyle is very similar to Mike, and me and Jeff are more outgoing. That seems to be a good team, when you go out. You get 2 people that are opposites like that.
Yeah. By the way, the Nibbler's profile picture is my favorite YouTube profile picture there is.
What is it? I don't even know what it is.
It's a squirrel like he's chewing on a nickel.
Oh, yeah. That was so funny. That name came to him just on a whim. I took him out with me on a hunt like last year. He was a friend I've just known. I was like, come on out. We're going to go out. And I just think everyone should have a nickname when you metal detect. I don't know why. It's kind of like you work all week and you're in the grind. And then when you go out to do your fun hobby, if you have a fun nickname, you sort of like can trick your own mind into thinking you're somebody else. You know, like when a dancer has a name or whatever. So give yourself a Diggin nickname.
You should have named him Candy then.
Well, it was spur of the moment. It just came to me, and then it just sort of stuck. He didn't like it at first, but now he loves it. He even bought a hat that says the Nibbler on it. His coworker, he's a doctor, and his coworkers call him Nickel Nibbler in the hospital. I mean, come on, how funny is that?
Yeah, I mean, I hope he's got like surgical gloves on, and he goes scalpel, and somebody reaches over and hands him a nickel.
Paging Dr. Nibbler. Dr. Nibbler. I mean, come on, that's incredible.
Dude, absolutely great. I don't know, man. If anybody else has any questions, throw them in the chat. Other than that, I just have to say thanks.
I kind of missed a lot of the chat.
For sticking it out.
I see a lot of cool people in the chat. I do. I want to thank them, too, for hanging in there. There was technical difficulties. That's what the internet is. It's full of technical difficulties. When you go live, everything's got to come together at that second. So thanks for everybody, hanging in there. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I see NH New Hampshire Beach metal detecting. I'm going to get him in the chat one day. I'm going to get him in the live stream. I've sent him messages. I love his channel as well. So that's a little plug for me.
I see a lot of cool channels in there. I'm sure they'll all come on. You just got to reach out to them. Deep Digger Duo Don. I mean, geez, he was, me and him started around the same time, like 3-4 years ago, whatever it was. A lot of the channels when I started aren't around anymore. Channels that I liked that kind of inspired me to start making videos aren't around. So it's nice when you see some. I'm glad Don's still doing his thing. He's been around a long time. If you've never seen him, he finds amazing coins too. I think Plugmaster 4's dug with him quite a few times.
Yeah.
Great guy there. All sorts of good people on here. It's such a good community. I'm proud to be a part of it all.
Yeah. Yeah. It's absolutely fantastic. It's fun, and it's, somebody said it is hard. It's hard to keep a channel going. It is absolutely, again, next to doing live streaming, this is the hardest thing to produce something meaningful like that, I think, or maybe even you consider that somebody wants to watch.
It is. It can be challenging. Like I said, when I first started doing it, you feel a lot of pressure of trying to find stuff. And then you get home and you'll look at your finds and be like, I didn't find enough to make a video. And after a while, I just sort of said, you know what? I don't care anymore. Whatever I find is what I find. I mean, this is what the hobby is. And, luckily for me, because I live in an old area, and when I go out, I'm out all day. I'm out, 10, 12 hours. So usually I'll find a couple things that I think are cool, even though you might think, I'll say you specifically, but in the world of metal detecting, they might be trash, but I think they're cool. Some videos, the highlight of my video is I have found one thing, it was like a broken man with a goat head on it, and that's all you find. But you know what? It makes me excited, so I put it up there. I like making the videos. To me, the two hobbies go together. I like finding stuff, but I like recording it at the same time. And I feel weird doing one without the other. So I just keep making them. If they watch, they watch. If they don't, they don't. But that's the hobby for me. The two things together, make up the hobby. And I said it before in the beginning, Matt, not many people were watching. I'd put a video up and I'd check on it the next day and be like, 8 people saw it. And 3 of them were me, my son, and my wife. That's what happens, But you just keep chugging along. You do what makes you happy. And eventually they come along. You get enough time in there, people just find you. Like I said, it's a tight community. They'll find you.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I was the same way. Certainly this year I put more of myself out there than I ever had before in the previous years. I said, For me, like I think a lot of people, I started this with, hey, let's man, I'm gonna be because there are old guys that I know who relic hunted for 30, 40 years, and they're like, man, I can't quite remember where I found that. Well, I was like, well, maybe I'll be lucky enough to be that old one day, and if that happens, I'll have a video record of it. I may not be able to see it or hear it, but somebody will be able to.
It's weird. That happens to me sometimes too. Sometimes I'll go through. Sometimes at night, all my good finds I put in like these display cases, and they're all over my house. And sometimes if I'm feeling nostalgic, I'll go over to one and I'll just look in it. And more often than not, I'll see a piece in there and I'll be like, I don't even remember what this is. I've never seen it before. I know I must have dug it. I don't know when. Like I just have no recollection of it. I guess when you dig so many things, especially if you did it for 30 years, you just can't remember. And I always think like, man, I must be getting old because I don't even remember finding this. But that's half the fun. It's kind of like I found it again in my living room.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody asked you, have you ever bumped into any of the Hoover boys?
I have not, and they don't live that far from me. I think they're in Maryland.
They are,
but I haven't. I don't usually travel that far. Luckily, where I am, you don't have to drive 15 minutes to find a really old house. So for me to go, Maryland's probably like 2-3 hours. I usually don't go that far. I would, but I haven't. Same up north, like the Stealth Diggers, super cool guys. I don't know them either. They're a little further than what I would normally travel. But, one day, like I said, the hobby's tight enough where I'm sure we'll all wind up getting together when your schedules line up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would love to hunt with you. And if you ever make it down to Virginia, we at least have a door to knock on. So
I'll knock on the doors. You can just come along and we'll have fun.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We'll get Jeff to do the other side of the street, and he'll have 15 houses in the same amount of time. But we'll have the best one.
We were trying. I mean, there's a bunch of guys. Jeff and I were trying to go out to like a central spot, like Ohio. It's kind of like in the middle of Missouri and New Jersey. I would love to get together with a lot of the people that I've known for so long. Don, like I said, my buddy Jeremy JL Digger, who's got a channel. A lot of us, you know these guys from so long, and girls for so long, on the internet. It's nice to get together sometimes. I'd love to get down to Virginia. I'm sure I will. It's not that far from me. It's only 5-6 hours. So, I'm sure I'll get down there. I'd love to get together one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then I guess, we've got about an hour. I'll ask one more question. So any plans on moving outside of the houses and maybe any water detecting in the future or any of that stuff?
I do want to do that. The guys I go with, Doug and Kyle, they really want to try. I heard a really loud bang. They really want to try river hunting. There's a lot of historic rivers around here too. The Delaware, like I said, George Washington crossed, and once in a while on the news you'll see where a cannonball washed up or something. So they really want to do it. So I'm for it. I have to figure out how I'm going to do it. That seems like it takes a lot of coordination. Something's got to float next to me, and then I got to try to hold onto my detector, and then do I dig with a shovel? Do I use a scoop? Do I let my detector go and just let it float? Should I test it? I don't know. I got to think about how am I going to work it? How do I film? My camera, I'm going to need a special camera. It doesn't get wet. Should I sit in a boat? It might sound goofy, but these are the questions that go through my mind. Logistically, how am I going to work this? So I do want to do it. The river hunting sounds really cool. And man, I'll tell you what, when you're at a house and you're outside on a 95-degree day for 9-10 hours and you're sunburned and sweating, those rivers seem awfully appealing in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I will say that that has saved my summer for sure. And it is a completely different world. It's just, but once you get the hang of it, you're like, wow, maybe those 1,700 coins are just laying on the top of the.
Maybe that's where they are. I'm not finding them in the grass.
Yeah, but it's different. You'll go, man, this is the greatest spot in the world, and you step off the boat and you sink up to your neck in mud, and you're like, well, I'm not going to get this,
It might be. That's the other thing. Like too. Like, what do you wear? Do you just wear like boots, or do you wear flippers? Like, what do you wear when you're out in the water?
Yeah, so like we just wear scuba boots that you would go scuba diving in. They're cheap. They're like $40. They dry out fast,
Really?
but they got a sole to them. They're a lot better than just tennis shoes. But you could wear tennis shoes. I have people who do that.
Maybe I'll do your Goodwill tip and go buy really cheap sneakers, and that way, if they get water ruined, they just throw them in the trash.
Absolutely, doesn't matter. Get the ones with Velcro. Plus, you look cool when you come out of the water with them.
Do I? I don't look. I don't have a body that oozes cool when it's like soaking wet. Maybe you do.
No, not me. Not me. Not at all.
But I do want to try it. That is something I definitely want to do. It might be too late in the season now, so I'll have to stock up on all the gear so I can do it, next year.
Well, the other cool part is, man, you don't have to have stuff that's up to your neck. You can go out and find really great finds in ankle deep water.
Oh, sure. They want to go in some creeks and like some little tributaries off the Delaware. They actually have a spot in mind already. Like I said, I just am not prepared with whatever gear I would need. And I might not even know what gear I need until I get out there. And I'd be like, oh, darn it, I wish I had this or that, or, something that might float next to me. Like you see those guys, clammers they're called, like the guys that look for clams in the bay. I don't know if you have that down there, but they have like a floating trash can next to them. And when they find the clams, they just put them in the trash can, and it's mesh.
Yeah.
So maybe something like that. I don't know. I've never done it. But that is something I do want to do.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And then there's, I guess, I don't even know if there's a permit where you live. If you have to, like, here in Virginia, to be in the water, to retrieve things from the bottom, you have to get a permit to disturb the subacutaneous bottom. It's all kinds of scientific crap, but it's silly. Like, you're scraping the bottom
right.
and they say
There probably
you're
is
disturbing
something.
fish.
That's another thing I'd have to look into. Like, I don't know. I'm so used to the door knocks that I don't even know the laws in my own state. I mean, I know you can't hunt on state-owned property, but like, the different towns might have local ordinances, and the counties, I don't even know what they are because I'm knocking on someone's private door. So yeah, if I go in the water, I'm going to have to look up, who owns that body of water and what the rules are and all that stuff. Because I'm too old to get arrested, for nonsense.
Too old to go to jail.
Right. I don't want to call my wife and say, honey, I'm arrested because I was metal detecting in a river somewhere. I don't want to make that call.
Please bail me out.
She'd probably leave me in there overnight too, so I don't even want to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she'd be like, no, you deserve this one.
It would make for a good video though too if Kyle got the officer like putting me in the handcuffs. That would be fun.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't. It would actually be humiliating. Kyle probably wouldn't let you go off of that one
later,
either.
when I reflect back, it wouldn't be fun in the moment.
Near me banned metal detecting and golf. Yeah, somebody Digaholic says a town near him banned metal detecting and golf. I don't know why the golf or the metal detecting.
They banned golf?
I don't know.
I played golf in high school. I was terrible though.
Terrible at golf?
Yeah, I do find a lot, maybe you do too, a lot of golf balls. I save all my golf balls. I have them in a big jug in my garage. I probably have maybe 60 golf balls from over the years. Especially on these big properties. I think they just go out and just whack the golf balls. So
what do you do with them? Because I have a farm field. So I had a farm field that I was hunting in, and there were golf balls everywhere. It was a neighborhood, and it was like the guys who lived in the back of the neighborhood were just driving golf balls out into this huge field. So the only thing we could think to do with them is use their shovels like baseball bats to see how far you could hit them back towards the house.
Oh, whack them back?
Yeah.
So, what's weird though to me is like golf balls are expensive. A 3-pack of golf balls is probably like $8-9. So for you to hit it one time and then it's gone forever, maybe I'm too cheap. I'd be going after that ball and I'd go get it so I could hit hit it at least 2 times.
Well, I don't know because they seem to abuse them on driving ranges. So I'm like, man, maybe they're not that expensive.
Yeah, but a driving range, they don't own it. You just show up and you rent them, and then the guy goes around in that truck with the metal thing and
Picks them back up.
Because that you're always aiming for that guy in the truck. That's the highlight of the driving range, is trying to hit the guy collecting the golf balls.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, well, dude, it has been an absolutely fantastic stream. Thank you for sticking with me.
I had a good time. I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad we didn't have to reschedule it.
Yeah.
Not that I don't care, but I'm glad it worked out.
All it took was one Mike Lyman. That's it.
Mike Lyman is one of my heroes. He always, when Mike's around, good things happen. I don't know what it is about that guy.
Yeah. I think it's his beard, personally, but I could be wrong.
That beard. That's a crazy beard, too. I think that's... Last year he grew it for Christmas, too. He really started early this year. It is full and thick.
Oh, man. So, anyway, thank you for coming on the live stream. I will... I'm going to slide you off to the side while I still have you, and we'll chat after this. But thank you again.
Thanks for stopping by, everybody. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. So thanks, guys, for stopping in, hanging out. This has been the worst live stream to the best live stream anybody could ever ask for. It has been fantastic. Thank you for sticking with me and understanding that this is how live streaming goes sometimes. Jason is a fantastic, I guess, he carries the banner or the torch for our hobby higher and as good as anybody out there. Go over there, check out his videos. He does fantastic stuff. He does really cool, collaborations and stuff like that. So maybe one day we'll get to collab with him. So to everybody in the stream, I hope you had a great night. Thanks for staying on a little later with me. And if there's any time, please go over and check out Flash in Your Pan. Those guys do great stuff over there. Maybe if you do go over there, tell them I sent you over there. So thanks, everyone. Have a great evening, and we will see you soon.